Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, we finally get to take a look at the 2024 BMW M340 and the 2024 BMW M3 Competition. We've made tons of content on both of these cars, but now let's put them head-to-head and see the similarities and the differences. I've borrowed both of these cars from Hendrick BMW Northlake, so take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. So let's get right into it. We have two very sporty performance style sedans that have a lot to offer. So if we start off with the M340, this is powered by the 3-liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder. It makes 382 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. Starting MSRPs for the 340s are right around $57,000 as well. As we work our way to the M3, this has a 3-liter twin-power turbo inline 6. Both of these are paired to an 8-speed automatic. However, the M3 pumps out 503 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. Now, both of these are all-wheel drive. They weigh in right around 3,800 pounds. 0 to 60 is going to be 3.4 seconds, 3.7 seconds. We have a top speed of 190 and 180 miles an hour. Both have a 15.6 gallon fuel tank. You'll expect to see around 16 miles per gallon in the city, 22 on the highway, and then 23 and 31. So for the significant price difference, some of the performance specs like 0 to 60 aren't all that different. And then as far as the overall dimensions go, the width is a little bit wider on the M3. Everything else is very, very identical. But let's get into the exterior styling now, where you will notice a big change up front. So for the 340, we have the smaller kidney grille, active grille shutters, forward-facing camera, there's all of the sensors, plenty of cutouts in that lower section too, and then a very thin design for all of the LEDs in that housing. Now on the M3, you'll notice that the headlight housings are separated from the grille. So we have that very large kidney style forward-facing camera. We have distance pacing for this M3, all of the sensors, and then the same cutouts in that lower section to provide even more cooling, and then LEDs for the headlight housings, of course. A little bit different shape for the lower section of the bumper as well. So we have these gloss black accents there versus the M3 or the 340, which just has a continuation there. So definitely very different. Hood lines are also different as well. So the M3 has the lines that continue down the hood, where we have some more subtle lines on the 340 there. And then as far as the sides go, wheel options are going to vary just depending on what you pick, but both of these have the red M Sport brakes. We have 6 pistons on the M3 there versus the 4 pistons on the M340. But really nice wheel options for these particular models. You'll notice the M3 comp badge is just behind that. There's just an M badge on the 340 as well as M Performance down below. Now these both have power folding side mirrors with the camera and the turn signal. So you'll notice those, as well as a sunroof being up top on both. Now as we take a step back, you will notice that the side designs look very, very identical. We have the gloss black in the lower side skirts for both of them. Very similar line in the lower section of that door, so they do share some side designs and some elements. And then in back, we have a very small trunk-mounted spoiler. There's the backup camera, all the sensors. We have gloss black along with the dual exhaust there, and then LEDs, of course, for the lighting. Now this also has remote start, so we can take a listen to that exhaust, where it sounds pretty good. Not all that loud, but definitely has a good sound to it. You can shut it off, of course, with the key fob. Now for the M3, a little bit larger of a spoiler. We have LEDs, backup camera. The diffuser is definitely much different, where we have a different M Sport exhaust as well. And under idle, they'll sound very similar. We have a lot more gloss black though in that bumper. Definitely a different bumper. Let's work our way to the trunk space now, where we have the power operation for this trunk. You can also fold the back seats down for this. No storage is underneath the floor, but you have some bins on both sides to give you additional space if needed. So it makes it very practical, especially for the sizing of these sedans. Now for the 340, we can open it up with that power trunk, where we have the same adjustments for the seats. You have storage bins on both sides, no storage underneath the floor. So virtually identical for what you are getting. Now let's work our way to the back seats where we can unlock this with the door handle there. All the interiors are going to vary just depending on the options, but we have the interior lighting. We also have full reviews on the M340s. So if you want to see these in greater details, take a look at those videos. Now we have climate adjustments, auxiliaries. There's also cup holders in the middle along with the armrest. You can fold down this middle seat individually. And then as far as headroom goes, I have maybe half an inch or so above my head. So at 5'10", it's not bad for the sizing of the 3 Series in general. There's no storage pockets, however, behind those seats, which would be nice to see. And then as we work our way to the M3, you can unlock it with that back door handle. And then again, just depending on your spec, you can have a lot of different options for these. Identical controls right in the middle. We have no cup holders though, or armrest. You could fold this down for it, but they have eliminated that, which is interesting to see. And then as far as headroom goes, it's what you'd expect, about half an inch or so. So very similar to the 340. Now let's work our way to the front seats where we have a lot of controls. You have your memory seating adjustments, trunk release, and then a very nice set of seats. We have the manual support for the leg there. And then with the M3, we get a lot of extra performance goodies. Massive carbon fiber paddle shifters, M1 and M2. We have distance pacing, your audio adjustments, heated steering wheel, all of your carbon fiber accents as well. There's some storage and headlight adjustments there. And then right in the middle, I'm gonna go through this fairly quickly since we do have full reviews on the M3 as well. But you have a lot of content that you can scroll through here, including the head-up display. So you can go through a few adjustments with that head-up display as needed. And then you also have the massive infotainment system. So it's very easy to go through all of these widgets and get through all this information. You can get into Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, your interior lighting, a lot of information that you can go through within this system here. And then you have your climates and you have shortcuts to also get into your heated and your ventilated seating. We have wireless charging with some auxiliaries down below there. We have the backup camera with that 360 view, so you have all of those various angles there. You have the ability to further adjust the transmission, shortcuts for that infotainment system, your traction control, forward-facing camera. We also get M mode for the M3. So this is how you can change the gauge cluster to give you a little bit more sporty of a drive, along with seeing the tack on the head-up display there. You also have setup for your M1 and your M2, so that way you can get into those and have those presets ready to go. You have the exhaust note button, your auto hold and e-brake, plenty of storage down below. And then we'll take a look at visibility. There's also the controls for that power sunshade up in the headliner as well. But it's very easy to see all around. And then as we work our way to the M340 now, this is going to be nearly identical. So we have the memory seating adjustments, your trunk release, all the controls down below here. And then, as you can tell, it looks virtually the same. We don't have large paddle shifters. There's no M1 or M2. We just have standard cruise control for this model. No storage over here, which is interesting, but you have your headlight adjustments. And then this is going to be a little bit different of a layout. You'll notice too that we do have a layout configuration, so you can go through that along with the head-up display as well. So slightly different, but still going to retain the same information, along with the infotainment system. So you have all of these widgets here, all of these shortcuts to get into Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, interior lighting, all of that. And then we do have a different trim accent here. We have the same adjustments down below, more of the trim accent for this. Take a look at the shifter though. That is different, but we have the same angles that you can go into. No transmission shifting abilities, so you can't control that. But we have some similar controls here. All of these for the infotainment system there. And then you do get a few different driving modes. So you can go through these as needed just by pushing those. So not quite as configurable. We have no exhaust note button either. And then similar amounts of storage down below here. And then we have the same controls for that sun shade up top. And then here's a look at visibility. So again, being the same 3 Series, it will be nearly identical. So again, I know I went through that fairly quickly, but we do have full reviews on both of these sedans, so you can check those out. But let's go ahead and get both of these out on the road and see how they drive. So let's start off behind the wheel of the M340 now. And I want to talk about a lot of the comments that we have seen from filming the M340 and the M3. A lot of the comments ask about what is the ride quality like for both of these. So the M340 is going to be a little bit more laid back, a little bit more comfortable, I will say, for daily driving. Now we do have the different driving modes here, so you can put it into sport mode, which is going to be beneficial for a better throttle response. It is also going to stiffen up the suspension slightly, but it's not a noticeable difference, at least for some of the bumps and driving like that. If you're doing some performance style twisty driving, things like that, and you push on both of them, you will feel a slight difference. But just by pushing on it for a road like this, it's still something that is calming. It's not, you know, back-breaking, harsh, anything like that. It's going to give you that stiffer ride for more of a performance style daily driving sedan. And then if we go down to second gear, we'll give it a little bit of gas, where that is as loud as it's going to get, having no exhaust note button or anything like that. It's more of a quiet vehicle. So this is a sedan where you want something well refined, but you want something that is also going to be sporty at the same time. Handling is going to be very good. We have the M Sport brakes as well, so it gives you those sporty handling characteristics without going to that M3 level. So with the M package, it gives you a very nice sedan and something that you can daily drive. You can daily drive the M3 as well, but if you're not looking for that next step, you want something a little bit more daily driver friendly with some ground clearance issues like that entrance there, the 340 is a great option. So let's hop into the M3. All right, and behind the wheel of the M3 now, as far as being able to daily drive this, a little bit lower than the 340, but this is something that you can still daily drive. Now I have everything in sport mode, I have the exhaust on, I have it in M2, where all of the presets are going to be in Sport Plus or Sport. And so with the same road, it is much more stiff. You can feel these bumps. We have a little bit more of a grippy tire, so it is picking up some of the debris on the road here. But hopefully you can tell, even with the same design with this screen, everything is a little bit more kind of race focused. And with a mild acceleration, it is a little bit louder. I'm not doing anything crazy today, but we even have the adjustments for that transmission. So you can tone this down to be more daily driver friendly as far as how the transmission shifts, but then you have the added feature of when you go to the mountains, when you go to the track, you can put it in the quickest shifting setting and then have those crisp shifts very instant for those situations. So I like the fact that basically you have a daily driver, but you have a track vehicle as well. So if you can put it into efficiency here, everything is in comfort, where it does get comfortable, but it's still, I don't want to say harsh because this is a car that I would buy. I love how the suspension rides, but it is stiffer than the 340. And so you can even get carbon fiber bucket front seats for this car. That's how track focused this is. So you have a lot more of those. If you are looking to do driving like that, this is the option to go with. Everything else is nearly identical to the 340. You just have more power. You have more options for doing the performance driving. And I can feel all these bumps too, even going at slower speeds. But I love it. I think both are great options. If you just want some more handling around normal turns, you know, daily driving, 340 is going to be something that's great, you know, more gas mileage, things like that. But if you want to drive this to work every day and then you're going to the mountains or you're going to the track, something like that, you can make this work and have a blast really with both of them depending on the driving that you're doing. So back from the test drive now with the M3 and the M340i. Honestly, both of these are incredibly fun to drive. It really just depends on what level of performance are you looking to get from your daily driving sedan. If you want something a little bit more laid back, but still has some performance and potential to it, you can go with the M340. If you want that hardcore, more raw feeling family style sedan, you can go with the M3. Now you can also get a manual transmission in the M3, which you cannot get with the M340. So just depending again on what you would like from your sedan. We have two very, very fun options to go with. With that price difference, however, though, you can get a fully spec'd M340 for less than the M3, tune it, and get some of that power to almost match the M3 as far as adding some more modifications to like suspension and things like that. But out of the gate, which one are you going to go with? Personally, I like the M3. I would get one with the manual transmission, but the 340 is still a fun option to go with. So I hope you all enjoyed today's head-to-head comparison. Huge shout out again to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing these cars for me today. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.